What's up, guys? So, about a week ago, I posted a video basically saying that Jesus loves you. And to my shock, I came across this comment that said, no one talks about how the lives of Krishna and Jesus are exactly the same. So, to kind of give you a background around this, is that these are what we call Jesus mythicists. So, what they would do is that they believe that Jesus did not exist. He was just a legend, he was just a myth, and he was not a historical person. So, what they would do is that they would look up ancient stories that were before Jesus, and they would actually pose that, oh, Christianity borrowed from these stories, they took from these stories, and therefore Christianity is just a copycat. And if Christianity is just a copycat, means Christianity is false, and therefore Jesus is just a copycat, is false. So now, are these claims true? The claims of the lives of Krishna and Jesus Christ being the same? Well, you have guessed it. It's false. So, but we are going to dive into that today. We're going to look at some aspects, including the birth of Krishna and Jesus Christ, the death of Krishna and Jesus Christ, and how old was Krishna and Jesus, how old was Jesus and Krishna when they died, stuff like that. So first of all, let's look into the first matter, the birth of Krishna and Jesus Christ. Now, when you look at the text that we have about the birth of, when you look at the dating of the birth of Krishna, I mean, dating the birth of Krishna is a very hard thing because due to varying interpretations and historical accounts. Now, some have, they put it on July 18th, some 21st of July, and some around August and September. So it's kind of hard to date the birth of Krishna. But right off the bat, we can see that there is no similarity there because we Christians, because of the early church, because of the calculations of the early church, we hold that Jesus was born on the 25th of December. And even that, we are not sure because the Jesus mythicists would say that, oh, Krishna was also born on the 25th of December. But from the documents that we have about Krishna, that is not true because we see that the dates of Krishna that were proposed by scholars when they were calculating, looking at the text, they said July 18, some say July 21, some say August, September. So it's not even close to the birth of Jesus Christ. If they wanna compare the birth of Krishna to someone else, you can go compare it with Mandela since he was born 18 July. But now Jesus, there is no similarity there. And again, now we have that they would also say that Krishna was also born of a virgin. But this is also not true at all. I mean, there's this text that is called the Vishnu Purana, where it narrates the birth of Krishna. And we see that Krishna was an incarnation of the god Vishnu. But even there is no suggestion that Devaki, the mother of Krishna, was a virgin. As a matter of fact, before the birth of Krishna, Devaki, the mother of Krishna, had 7 children and she was married. So she was not a virgin. So there is no similarity. The only similarity we can pose is that the incarnation and the fact that it was a divine birth. But that correlation doesn't mean causation, if you can understand that. But we can see that the birth they right off, they are not the same. And now let's look at the death of Krishna and Jesus Christ. From what we know about the death of Jesus Christ is that Jesus Christ was crucified in the middle of 2 thieves. And this Jesus mythicists will say Krishna was crucified the same way, he died the same way. But then there is this ancient text about Krishna that we have that is called the Mahabharata text. And even that, we can see that these claims are false. I don't know where these people get these things. They are just not there. Because in that text, we see that Krishna was killed by a hunter, a fierce hunter named Jara. And this hunter was mistaking Krishna for a deer, so he shot him, then he died. And then right off there, he touched the man and then ascended into heaven. And so we can see that there is no similarity there. And from the thing that I put up there, you may see the name Keshava, but it is just because that's just another name for Krishna after he slew the demon Kasma or whatever that is. Yeah. So, but we can see that even their deaths are not the same. They are not similar. And now let's look at the resurrection. Jesus Christ died and he bodily resurrected. He came back from the dead bodily, physically, and he lived among people for 40 days and then he ascended. But Krishna, he ascended at the moment of his death. So there is no similarity there whatsoever. Because now, even when Krishna went up, he went there to see the other incarnations because Krishna was the eighth incarnation of the God Vishnu. There were other incarnations before Krishna, but that's not the same with the Christian God. Jesus Christ is the incarnation of the Christian God. And now you see that the death, resurrection, no similarity whatsoever. And now let's look at how old they were when they died. From Jesus, when we calculate using the New Testament and the accounts of Jesus, we see that Jesus died around 30 or 33 between this between these ages. Like, yeah, we are not sure, eh? But I don't know if we are not sure, but that's what I hear. That's what I hear scholars say. And but for Krishna, we have his date of death. He died when he was 125 years old. There is no similarity again whatsoever. Because now we see that Krishna died when he was 125 years old. Jesus Christ died when he was about 30 or 33 years old. There is no similarity whatsoever. There was no borrowing. So this is just a false claim saying that the lives of Krishna and Jesus Christ are exactly the same because they are not the same. Jesus Christ is unique in its own way. We hold that Christianity is the only true religion, and as a matter of fact, scholars will say that the fully formed stories of Krishna that we have were from like about the 6th to the 10th century. That's after the stories of Jesus Christ, which means if someone was copying someone, Krishna was copying Jesus Christ. So we see that Christianity is not a copycat. Jesus Christ is not a copycat. Jesus Christ is the true God. He is unique in his own way, and Christianity stands above all other religions. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you learned something today. I hope that you learned something, and that thing is Krishna. The lives of Krishna and Jesus Christ are not the same. So thank you for sticking around. Hope to see you next time. Peace.